So I've been digging into attachment theory the last few days, and it's been incredibly clarifying. It's highlighting some of the childhood trauma or trauma that I've had my entire life that I've been exhibiting without even realizing it. Things that have been affecting my relationships, both romantic, friendship, family, everything. So I think it's something that's really important for people to understand because it affects your entire life and we don't even realize it. These are things that we don't even realize. So essentially, there are 4 different attachment types. There's one that is the secure attachment type, securely attached, but then there are 3 insecure attachment types, attachment styles, and this is where things can go a little haywire. So the first one is anxious attacher. There's the dismissive avoidant, and then there's the fearful avoidant. So anxious attacher is one who their childhood trauma is essentially they had an unstable parent, a parent that was one moment there and loving and the next moment was not there. And so they could never count on that consistency of love. So in turn, it results in like a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection. I don't know if now is a good time. I don't know if I'm going to get love this time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know if now is a safe time. So they're constantly on guard, constantly aware, hyper vigilant of everybody's facial cues, body language, the way they say things, because they had to be as a child, right? And so it comes out as someone who's anxiously attached because they never know whether that love is going to go away. Then there's the dismissive avoidant. This is someone who retreats when things get intense or retreats when receiving love. This is someone who, as a child, had to be a parent. As a child, had to be the one to have all the responsibility, or a lot more responsibility than a child should have. And so they've adapted to this way of being of, it's too much. It's too much. I've always had to be the one who's had to do it all. And it's too much. It's overwhelming. So they kind of retreat. And when the love gets intense, or the connection gets intense, or emotions start getting intense, or they start getting close, there's that fear of, is it going to get too much? So they retreat and they back away. And then there's the fearful avoidant, who is a mix of the two. So it's that one that can go either way, that has had both a parent who was unstable in terms of providing love, consistent love, and also a parent who has made it such that the child felt like they had to take over. And the avoidant side often feels very criticized as well, because as a child there was a lot of criticism, or it could have come from a lot of criticism as a child. They had to be a certain way, and if they weren't, they were most certainly told about it. So that fearful avoidant has a bit of both sides. Can be anxious, can be avoidant, and which one comes out typically depends on who they're with. So if they're connecting in the moment with someone who's anxiously attached, their avoidant side is going to come out. If they're connecting with someone who is avoidant, their anxious side is going to come out. So this dynamic between the anxious and the dismissive tends to do this push-pull, right? The anxious can get really intense, like, whoa, but I have feelings. I need to communicate about these feelings. Like, these things are coming up. What's happening? And then the avoidant goes, whoa, I can't breathe. That's too much, and starts to back away. And which causes this person, the anxious one, to only go deeper into, whoa, why are you pulling away? Am I going to lose you? Are you rejecting me? Are you abandoning me? And I'm going to get more intense. And then this one pulls away even further, until the anxious one eventually stops, or gets tired, or gives up, or loses hope, and starts to retreat, and goes on their own way, or focuses on themselves, at which point the avoidant can finally breathe again. And then once they can finally breathe, they feel like, okay, now I can think, but I want to connect with you, and so comes back. And then the anxious comes back and, oh, you're connecting, okay, great, and then the avoidance like, it's too much. And so there's this constant back and forth, right, until you do the work, until you heal that part of you. And being in a connection where these things are triggered can be incredibly healing if both parties are on board, if both parties are willing to look at themselves and grow together, to be open and honest with each other of, hey, this is how this is impacting me, this is coming up for me, and the other person receiving that safely, free of judgment, without criticism, in a way that is done with curiosity. Understanding each other and understanding what each person is experiencing and why this is coming up. And doing so with compassion can be incredibly healing. So I just wanted to share that. There are so many resources out there. YouTube has so many videos, TikTok, Instagram, etc. You can find them everywhere on explaining the different attachment styles. There are quizzes that you can take to identify which one is yours. But a lot of the videos will kind of go through, well, here's what this one is. So you might be able to recognize yourself in them. And I think to some degree, a lot of people have maybe some level of each one depending on the situation, but the secure attached person has it in a much more healthy amount than an insecurely attached person. So there are differences there, but not to worry, these things can all be healed when we look at them and recognize them and identify that. Our commitment to our own growth and our healing journey is paramount here, and I know you can do it.